Welcome to Source Not Found, a show about the worst versions of your favorite things. Every other week, we talk about IPs, franchises, and fandoms solely through their sequels, side projects, and spin-offs. Basically, anything except for the source material. My name is Bo Woodall, and girls with asses like mine do not talk to boys with faces like yours.
And I'm Ashley. That's me. So that's maybe a deep Amanda Bynes cut. I'm Brandon June, and I'm just wondering, do you like cheese?
God, that was such a deep cut and so good. Yeah, I love smoked Gouda, a full wheel of it in a box, wrapped and placed on my dorm bed. Guys, this week we're talking about She's All That. No, wait, we're talking about She's the Man. A She's movie.
Thank you. I almost watched, there were so many of these. I was like halfway to watching, what was it? The other one. She's like throwing up the peace sign on the cover. What a Girl Wants.
Own that
Another
one.
Amanda Bynes movie.
Yep, own that one.
I can't keep I can't keep this shit straight. When did we pivot? Like Twilight, Christmas Prince. Now we got this. Like, when did we become just like teenage girls in 2004?
I've always been a teenage girl in 2004. I don't know about you. But
I'm steadily finding myself, I guess.
This week we're talking about She's the Man.
There we go.
The 2006 movie starring Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum that is inspired by, believe it or not, the bard himself, William Shakespeare. Guys, it's February. It's what most people see as Romance Month. My partner and I do not. My wife and I. We celebrate Friday the 13th, which is pretty ironic based on this podcast's history. But we do not celebrate Valentine's Day. But the big man Shakespeare himself was a big fan of that good love. And so we're going to talk about it a little bit through this 2006 modernization of Twelfth Night, or what you will.
This was actually my first experience with Shakespeare, Twelfth Night.
Oh God, I thought you meant She's the Man. I was like, you're the worst fucking English major I've ever met in my life.
Remember last time we were talking about missing a couple classics along the way? So this Shakespeare guy, I hear he's good.
Billy Shakespeare. I heard he's great. I love Bill.
I think it's 1996, the film version of Twelfth Night with like Helena Bonham Carter and Sir Benjamin Kingsley. That I remember my mother renting that, and I don't know. I watched a good portion of it with her, and I have no idea. I actually rewatched it before watching this movie, just to kind of revisit it. And I read through the play as well, because I really enjoy it. I like that play. I think it's a good one. And I was like, what possessed me as probably a 9-year-old to sit and watch this movie for more than like 30 seconds? I couldn't figure it out. But something about it did capture my attention, even as a child.
So that brings me to maybe an interesting question. We'll see. Twelfth Night was your introduction to Shakespeare. Did you have any like incredibly memorable Shakespeare experiences? Something that just like is he the reason you fell in love with English? You know, like the concept of literature and writing, or like, do you ever see a play that just like jumped out and punched you in the mouth hole?
Right. You know, not really. I mean, it's like the usual, like, all right, high school, you're going through like all the hits, you know, Macbeth and Hamlet. You know, I don't have any like deep sort of like hot takes on Shakespeare. They're great. They made an impression on me at the time when I read them, and every time I've seen that story conveyed through a different adaptation or just seen it live, I've really enjoyed it. How about you?
So I have two experiences. Whenever I was in middle school, we lived in Abingdon, Virginia, home of the Barter Theater, a very old playhouse in Virginia. It's called Barter Theater because people used to actually barter like loaves of bread or crop or meat so they could see a play there. They would do that instead of purchase the ticket with, currency.
Bartering for the bard. Bartering.
Yeah, you damn right. My mom was the office manager there, so I get to sneak in and see all sorts of plays. And one of the first ones I saw was The Tempest. Mm-hmm. And seeing that play as a middle schooler will fuck your entire worldview up. Like it was rough. I saw The Tempest, I saw Twelfth Night, I saw A Midsummer Night Dream, Hamlet, Macbeth. I probably saw 10 or 12 Shakespearean plays. Dude, Titus Andronicus fucked me up real bad. But I probably saw 10 or 12 Shakespearean plays in like the span of a year and a half. And fell in love with it. And then whenever I was in high school, I ended up moving to St. Louis as a junior in high school, which listeners, if you're under the age of 15, one, what are you doing? And two, relocating during high school is the worst thing. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. But something that didn't suck was I took Shakespeare as soon as I arrived, and I met this wonderful teacher who will live on with me forever. Her name was Kelly Dawson at the time. Her name is now Kelly Barbin. She's wonderful. I love her so much. Hi, Mrs. D. She gave me the part of Horatio to read in Hamlet, and I did research on that character. I jumped into it. I memorized my lines, even though it was a class reading. Like, I fucking loved it, dude. She called me Horatio all through high school. And then one of my big writing assignments in college was I wrote a short story based on the character. And I mean, it just,
hell yeah.
Shakespeare's been a big part of my jam English wise since middle school.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous because I love all those plays you listed. I haven't seen proper productions of most of them.
Oh, these were not proper production. Oh, actually, I take that back. They were absolutely incredible.
I guess non-classmate acted.
Oh, fair enough.
English.
Okay, cool.
You know what I mean? A lot of these I read, going through my typical public school experience, and then some of them that I missed along the way, I went back and sought out on my own just to get a better, overview of the canon of literature.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if the productions at Barter Theater were top notch. I don't know if these were like touring productions or like, touring cast or something like that. But all I know is as a middle schooler, I was on fucking Broadway every time I was in there.
Right.
Like it blew my mind. They were all incredible. Everything about it was absolutely wonderful.
So I have a question for you. Today we're talking about Shakespeare by other means.
Okay.
Aside from this, do you have any favorite adaptations of a Shakespearean work?
Other than The Lion King?
Sure. I mean, that works.
I don't know, man. He's so prevalent. Like the conceits that he tosses in there. I mean, Prospero and the Tempest can kind of be looked at as like a classic magician taking into like an Elminster in Faerun sort of, which I just said words that no one really probably knows. But like there's so much prevalence in both literature and media for Shakespeare that it's hard to choose one.
It is.
I will say maybe Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe Stoppard. I could be wrong on that. I'd have to actually look it up. But one of the funniest plays I've ever seen or read in my entire life. I absolutely love it.
I think for me, I have a less, what do I want to say, literary take. I mean, there are some good ones, right? I like just a lot of the wacky ones, like Scotland, PA, that the Macbeth story reimagined as like the warring between two fast food chains in the 70s. That was a fun one. Random ones like that, but I think my favorite actually is it's about a minute and a half in the middle of the movie Last Action Hero.
Oh, God damn it. That's so good.
When the kid is in English class and watching the film Hamlet and starts like imagining, because he's obsessed with Schwarzenegger movies.
Yeah. And
starts imagining a Schwarzenegger version of Hamlet. And if you've never seen this, I mean, The Last Action Hero is just a wonderful, funny, fun film. Highly recommend it. But just seeing Schwarzenegger go through the fucking castle with an Uzi, and then that last scene of him standing in front, to be or not to be, lights the cigar, castle explodes, not to be. I mean, I just don't top that for me.
Okay, so you said that, and it did bring a memory crystallized within me. Did you see the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet?
I've never seen that. actually.
With Leo and Claire Danes.
Yeah, no, I missed that.
Dude, something that will always strike me as just such a badass scene. And you know what, guys, come at me. It's fine. But Mercutio throws his gun into the sand and it sticks barrel first into the sand. And along the barrel of the gun, it just says dagger on the gun. I mean, all of their guns are named like longsword or sword or dagger or something like that. But Mercutio has smaller guns and they're both called daggers. And he throws one into the ground and it sticks in the ground like a dagger. And it just says dagger along the barrel of the gun. And then Mercutio with his open shirt and his dreads with the beach in the background. And that was just a cool fucking scene. Like, yeah, he dies right then. Spoilers. But like, God, it's really, really neat.
I do need to check that out. I've enjoyed like some of his productions. I enjoyed his Gatsby,
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, but we're not talking about
we're not talking about just Baz Luhrmann today.
We're talking about a much what do I want to say, a much tamer production, definitely, than a Luhrmann.
Though according to one of the main character's father, there's a lot more nudity than he remembers.
She's the man. What to say?
Well, before we get into it, as I always do with movies, I have a little bit of precursor information.
Let's get it.
Because I brought this movie to the table.
You did.
My wife and I watched this.
As well as Christmas Prince.
Yeah, you are so welcome.
You need to stop. You need to stop it. I had to sign up for a 1-week free trial to Paramount Plus just so I could watch this, and I still feel like I overpaid.
No, yeah, we own the DVD. I watched all of the extras in preparation for this recording. Dude, all of them. The making of, the gag reel, the commentary. I am a I know you said last episode or 2 episodes ago I shouldn't call you a scholar. I am a fucking She's the Man scholar now.
So one of us had to do it, and I thank you for your service.
Absolutely, you're welcome. But this movie came out March 17th, 2006. Budget, $20 million.
Huh.
That seems like not a lot, right?
I mean, but considering what it entails.
Right, but I mean, like look at what we saw on the screen for Blood Rain. You know, like, production value-wise.
Blood Rain is not a good metric.
I know.
To judge
it really is not.
Else.
The opening weekend for this movie, it made $11 million. Worldwide gross, it made $57 million.
All right.
It did pretty good for what it had going on. As I normally do, I went ahead and got the top 5 for that weekend. V for Vendetta was number 1, released on the same day as this movie. So the same weekend, V for Vendetta took it. Failure to Launch, the Matthew McConaughey, Sarah Jessica Parker flick, was number 2, released the week before. She's the Man, number 3 on the box office charts. And then The Shaggy Dog with Tim Allen, released the week before. And The Hills Have Eyes, also released the week before. That's our top 5 for March 17, 2006. Just chock-a-block full of hits, baby.
It's just a trilogy of wacky hijinks bookended by 2 very different, more visceral experiences.
I was going to say, The Hills Have Eyes and V for Vendetta bookended by just absolute, slapstick shit.
Interesting. Okay. And people chose, they're out there. They chose to see this. How could you choose where to spend your dollar? Failure to Launch or She's the Man? That's a tough choice.
So Failure to Launch had some things going for it that this movie did.
I've never seen it.
I have.
Let me guess. You own that too? Okay. No, I don't
surprisingly,
know.
I don't. I don't. We will not be. Okay. We will not be covering that film ever.
Okay. Good.
Even though Bradley Cooper's in it, and so is Justin Bartha, it's a treat.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Before we cover the 12th Night part, I wanted to give a brief rundown of the plot summary from IMDb. And this is the official plot summary, not submitted by a user, but submitted by IMDb.
Right, okay.
Viola Hastings, played by Amanda Bynes, is in a real jam. Complications threaten her scheme to pose as her twin brother Sebastian and take his place at a new boarding school. She falls in love with her handsome roommate Duke, who loves beautiful Olivia, who has fallen for Sebastian. As if that were not enough, Viola's twin returns from London ahead of schedule, but has no idea that his sister has already replaced him on campus. That's the movie.
That about sums it up. That's it. But and just it's that for. I mean, it's a lot longer than it needs to be. What is this, like an hour and 40?
Hour and 45.
You feel every minute of it, and so it's that plot, and it's just padded out with a lot of montages and All American Rejects
and OAR. I
that
was unfortunately happy to hear OAR for some reason.
Yeah, there's the one montage. Which montage is it? It's the soccer montage when she's like getting better because of her training with Duke and getting after it. And it's to Charlie Tuna's International, and Jurassic 5 is like, that's the group that got me interested in hip hop.
Yeah.
So when I hear those beautiful bassy tones, my ears prick up. So that was a good one.
And OK Go as well jumps in there, which
right.
OK Go is, I mean, I love me some OK Go. The soundtrack is very 2000s. The entire film is very 2000s.
Yes, very time capsule of the era for sure.
So 12th Night. Before we get into the movie and its plot beyond the synopsis, 12th Night is a pretty easy thing to describe, right? It's the classic case of love triangle mixed with mistaken identity.
I guess that aspect of it is, and then you get into like all these peripheral characters and like tricking Malvolio into thinking, that Olivia actually has the hots for him, and right, like faking some handwriting, and there's a bunch of other stuff that complicate matters. It actually, like, the dramatic irony in the final scene of like everyone's slowly realizing like, wait, we don't just have one character here, we have twins, and we've been like confusing one for the other in certain scenes, and their actions are impacting the other, and we're attributing one's actions to the other, right? But we haven't yet had the reuniting of the two siblings who believe one another is dead. Having just watched the movie, I was like, man, this is a lengthy series of, it just like seems to knot into itself until it can't get any more complex, and just like the tension building, because there's so many different things hinging upon this revelation. It's very well done. It's such a phenomenal play.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, because it's been a while since I've watched or read 12th Night, but Viola does not take the place of her sibling. She just becomes a man. She becomes Cesario.
Right. Did I say that? I just meant, I guess, like, you have the two siblings when Sebastian shows up and he's interacting with some of these characters who believe they've been interacting with Cesario. We start getting confused about like, is that the sibling that did that, or we're thinking it's just all Cesario, right?
So you're not implying that Viola in the play takes the place of Sebastian, as opposed to Cesario and Sebastian are kind of interchangeable.
I didn't mean
in certain
to if it came off that way. Yeah. It could be that she's the man is in what I want to say, negatively impacting my
maybe
my day old remembrance of 12th Night, because we do have that going on here.
I don't know. It does make it easier to watch as a film. Just being like, okay, fine, they're siblings. She takes the place of her twin brother. It's fine.
Sure.
Why include a third identity? Like, why include a tertiary character that can play off everybody when it's just as easy to increase the drama by just making her take the place of Sebastian?
And you have the additional stakes of like, she's trying to prove herself as a female. It's like the Mulan thing, right? Like, people are dismissing her because she's female. They think she cannot play soccer with the boys, and she's going to prove them wrong. And that's inherent in taking over her sibling's identity, right? Right. And it's the major plot points that this is the driving force through this whole movie. Yeah, agreed. This is a little taste of a corner that we may jump into a little bit later. But initially in the script, she was trying out for the role of Hamlet. There was no soccer. It was going to be a theater kid movie. Oh, really? Interesting. And instead they wanted like a feminine empowerment aspect of it. That's interesting. That gets a little more, right? You have like the framing of 12th Night, and then within the 12th Night we have now Hamlet, just like Shakespeare on Shakespeare, just Inception. In Shakespeare, Inception. Yeah. Inception, whatever. You went. I thought about going for it, and I regret it. I appreciate your boldness there. I regret it immensely now. It came out horribly. So
this movie is easy to talk about. Like there's not a lot of meat on these bones.
Yeah.
I don't know how faithful of a retelling it is of Twelfth Night.
Not really.
It's not really. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does what the 2000s did pretty well, where it's like, hey, we're going to take an idea that's been seen and done before, and we're going to make it 2000s-y. We're going to put all of the aughts all over it and package it nicely and send it out into the world.
So we've got, at the beginning, we've got
some hardcore 2000s ass credits.
Yeah.
There's like paint splash and kind of like a girl-led pop punk band and a lot of camera flashes and camera flare and freeze frames and bikinis with denim short shorts.
Yeah, it's a hyperactive version of like an Abercrombie and Fitch.
I was gonna say
a bunch of real hot teens playing soccer. On
if
the
you
beach.
could just freeze frame individual moments of the TV show The OC, you basically just get those credit sequences.
Yeah.
And the only thing we get from those credits is that Amanda Bynes' character, Viola, is pretty good at soccer. And her boyfriend's kind of a dick.
Yeah. And she is very annoying.
Yeah.
Was my major takeaway. She's pretty annoying throughout this movie, but she something about her changing gender as Sebastian. Maybe it's because it's now like it's played for laughs, like her awkwardness at trying to fit in with the guys. But when she's just left to her full devices, like, I don't know, there's just like very 2000s jokes, like 1-800-BIATCH.
Yeah, the biatch thing I actually giggled at because I was like, holy shit, that is the most 2000s thing she could probably say.
Yeah, she's just got this like sort of grading register, and I was like, oh man, is it going to be this? She gets more, what do I want to say, relatable and likable as the movie goes on.
Yeah.
But at first, it's...
For 2 weeks, there is a pretty good amount of character growth that happens in those 2 weeks.
But I'll tell you who doesn't grate on me at all. And one of the performances of the movie is Julie Haggerty as her mom.
God, I love Julie Haggerty.
I do too. One of my favorite movies growing up and then now is What About Bob with Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss. And she's great in that. So
she's also great as Ryan Reynolds' mom in Just Friends.
Okay. I have seen that. I would need a refresher. But her, like, she's trying to just, like, turn her daughter into a fancy debutante.
Yep.
The way she, like, prance around, like, but then, like, pouts and tries to dress up her daughter in all these dresses. And then, like, she gets into this sudden, like, lustful register when she starts talking about
Justin.
Her daughter's boyfriend, Justin.
He's so chiseled and sculpted.
It is a
why don't you date her, Mom? Yeah.
She's just having so much fun with it, just like chewing up that scene.
Yeah.
Just running through all this roller coaster of emotions. And that was fun to watch. But yeah, we've just got basically Viola and her brother, Sebastian. He's sneaking out the window of his bedroom with his bedroom door wide open and his mother downstairs. Just masterclass and getting away with it.
Yeah. Heading off to London to play music I don't even think he has a band. He's just playing music. He writes lyrics and has a guitar. So he's going to London to play music.
People are really into his lyrics.
Yeah.
They're like
really
so into his
him.
lyrics. Yeah.
But apparently he got kicked out of Viola's current school, whose girls' soccer program just got shut down. And now he's at the competing school, Illyria.
One of many sort of random surface level nods to places and locations and characters.
Considering that Viola's school is currently Cornwall. Yeah.
I kind of hate this. This one's not so bad, but I love seeing an adaptation where they take not just the names of characters or locations, but they really look at what the original was and they subvert it in some way or do a fun play on it, like do something ironic or humorous. This movie is 90% just like, we got a grab bag of names and character, like names from the original work, and let's just pull it out. Like, let's see, who should Malvolio be? Let's make him the tarantula. Sure, why not? You know, like there's not much to that because they turn Festes, like the sort of, he's like the clown. He's listed as the clown.
The jester clown character.
The jester sort, right? And oh man, just to come off like watching Ben Kingsley just kill it as that character.
Oh
funny,
God, I
and then
can't
just
imagine, dude. You really fucking hamstrung yourself going
I didn't
from.
set myself up for success. Yeah,
You
yeah.
really didn't. You're like, I'm gonna watch Sir Benjamin Kingsley as this clown character, and now I'm gonna watch fucking Malcolm Festus with his Spider Malvolio.
That's the thing. Like Festus is like, oh man, he just offers so much like deep, insightful, and funny wordplay and depth to that story, and just they turned Festus into like. They turned him into Malvolio. They made him like a fucking hall monitor.
Yeah, effectively, he was supposed to be both characters because they couldn't fit Festus in there, who they should have just made Paul.
Yeah.
Paul just should have been Festus.
Yeah, I just wish there had been a little more thought into like it even would have lined up better. They have like the characters that could be versions of the characters in the original, but they make some weird choices. I feel like there are a couple that are done well, which I'll mention later. There's one that I think is done very well, but some of these, like, it's fine. The school is named after the kingdom. Perfect. Doesn't need to be more than that. But with some of the characters, like, it felt like a missed opportunity.
I agree. So Viola's soccer program gets shut down. She wants to join the boys, or she wants to be able to try out for the boys soccer team. And the coach decides to go all, girls aren't fast enough or strong enough. What are you thinking? Which I was like, well, that's early aughts. And then Viola turns to her boyfriend, who is team captain of the boys team, and is like, you just told me yesterday that I'm better than half your team. And he's like, I never said that. No. And so she just fucking ditches him there, goes home, finds out her brother's dipping out, and decides to just take her brother's place at the other school to get on their soccer team and come back and show Cornwall that she can kick ass at soccer.
Mm-hmm.
That's her plan, is to be Sebastian, get on the soccer team, and kick Cornwall's ass in the first game of the year.
And you know she achieves it by going with her girlfriends to visit her sassy, frosted tip, hair-having male friend at the salon. And, of course, there is a mustache montage. Just general facial hair montage.
Of course there is. So I'm gonna introduce my first question to you about this. What the fuck's up with Paul? He was the frosted tip hairdresser man. Why is he friends with so many high school girls? He seems to be an adult man.
Yeah. That.
I love Paul. I think Paul is a very fun character. I mean, he's an expected cliched character, but I think the actor does a great job with what he is given.
I guess we differ on this one. It's the most stock ass trope.
Oh yeah, it is.
Right.
I think the actor does a pretty good job with it.
I guess he does. I wouldn't blame the actor so much as like he's just not given anything interesting or funny to say.
No, he's not.
And he doesn't do anything. It's like a sort of just a more mediocre version of the exact responses and sort of, like sassy comebacks and hands folded across the chest that you would expect.
Yeah, he is the cliche. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, what is up with this grown-ass man hanging out with juniors and senior girls of high school?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would say, like, is he implicating himself in actions and matters that he shouldn't be as an adult? But really, who's not at fault by the end of this movie when we have a whole stadium of people seeing underage genitalia?
Absolutely, we do.
Both genders.
Yeah.
Then
we get to Illyria.
Yeah. And I do want to say, Amanda Bynes, I loved all that as a kid. And she joined the cast a little bit later, and she was a younger cast member.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of her characters were supposed to be kind of like grating, annoying, like the Ashley reference I made, right? Just like kind of unhinged. And so I never really watched her show growing up, but that's kind of what I knew about her general sort of type of character that she does. And you get that in the first section of this movie. But she also has some just phenomenal comedic timing and facial expressions.
She really does. She chews some words that are wild. It's very fun.
They get a lot of mileage out of the same sort of weird, awkward facial expressions and moments of panic. But some of them are just the first one when they're pulling up in the car and she's getting all sort of revved up, okay, I'm gonna go. She steps out of the car and it's just a dude passing by, what's up? And she just immediately dives back in the car he knew. And it's a very funny reaction.
Yeah.
And she does that a few times. But she also does a lot of, like, I don't really know what she's going for the, like, she has she's great at reacting.
Yes.
To situations, but the general way that she sort of tries to be a male
is so cringy sometimes. Her accent, like, I didn't know what she was doing.
Because it's all over the place. Half the time it sounds like the fucking Elvis Presley impression that I probably tried to do as like an 8-year-old.
Mixed with Southern, mixed a little bit with Surfer Guy. Like, she is across the board.
Yes.
Which maybe that's what she was going for. I don't know. I do have to say something about this scene. I very much liked it for one important reason. I love it anytime there's a soundtrack going in the background and then the marching band shows up and matches that soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
That's always welcome for me. But that's nice. That's really all I have to say about that. Then we get to meet Channing Tatum. Yay, Channing Tatum. Whose name is Duke Orsino, which is the exact goddamn name of the character in the play.
Well, same with like Viola and Olivia. Yeah, but
they named him. That's like naming another person like Duchess something. Like it was.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, bro. All right, cool.
That's true. That's true. I don't really know what else you could do with that though. If you did want to connect it, like neither Duke nor Orsino really lends itself to.
Yeah, it'd be rough.
You know. So I was fine with that one.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's good. He's good in this.
Another
one. He's got some phenomenal comedic timing at a few moments.
Yeah, I think Channing Tatum is great. Then we move on to the soccer tryouts. Vinnie Jones makes a welcome appearance.
He's great as well.
Yeah. He has a line that I actually laughed out loud at when he starts talking about the second string players. And he's like, you are just as much a part of this team as the first string players, except for the playing the game bit. And I was just like, fuck off. That's so good. Damn it, Vinny.
Yeah, the intensity he brings to that role is, you know, I looked for things to enjoy throughout this, and I did find quite a few, more than I expected. That was one of them, as well as Julie Haggerty. I was very disappointed with David Cross. I thought that would be like a high point of the movie for me. And another one, like, I don't really know what he's going for. He's just like, he's so over the top cartoony. Like,
yeah,
no one in this movie really acts like a normal human being. You know, at times it does feel like that sort of overacting you get in children's films, like fucking All That skits, you know, just like everyone's just so over the top, but like not in a clever or even like really funny way. Just over the top for the sake of being over the top. My
initial note was a welcome David Cross, and then I just crossed it out. Like, I was like, oh man.
Yeah, another one where it's like it's a kind of a cliched role, like the sort of like hapless, easily bamboozled headmaster of the school that just like all the evidence is in front of him and he's just not seeing it, and he just like explains it away, like all the strange, like, oh, wait a second, I don't think this is actually Sebastian here, and he just like has an answer ready to go to just like, you know what I mean, not realize the truth.
Right.
But then again, it's just like we're not doing anything with that really, and he doesn't have anything particularly clever or funny to say. So I was disappointed with David Cross.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think it's his fault. He's just not given anything to say.
Then Sebastian runs into Olivia for the first time. They kind of like bump heads. Well, Viola as Sebastian bumps into Olivia, knocks her books down. They have a kind of meet cute sort of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, how do you not pursue the most beautiful girl in school? In man words, it's time to pounce.
Yeah, it's god damn. And then you meet Malcolm / Festus / Malvolio, who I did not know he was going to be Malvolio initially, and I just wrote a note that says Malcolm can fuck right off. When he sat down, he's like, "Did you know bologna is 33% hoof?" And I'm like, "All right, come on, dude."
I thought it would be more.
We get some more dorm room stuff. Blah 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 blah. Something I did want to. I don't know if this is acting or not, but the shower scene when Channing Tatum walks in and Malcolm is like berating Viola as Sebastian and he towel whips him, that man got hit. Like, that looked like that fucking hurt. Like, that's good shit.
Yeah, I mean, the middle part of this is basically just increasingly like close calls. Like, oh, Viola really needs to take a shower. How does she shower with a bunch of guys? She's got to go in the middle of the night. Oh, like her wig is coming off and someone's passing. Oh, David Cross.
Yeah.
This might be a little bit later, but like.
You're going to become a baldy. Yeah.
And he's like, I understand male pattern baldness. Just stuff like that. And you just sort of like go through that as she steadily gets a little bit better at soccer and deepens her relationship with.
Well, so she gets better at
Duke.
soccer because she agrees with Channing Tatum on something because of the uncomfortable pizza scene where Viola's best two girlfriends come in and hang all over her as Sebastian. And then the guys are like, oh my God, you're a god amongst men sort of thing, which, you know, they're not wrong. We are that bad in high school. Like we probably would like as dudes would be like, oh my God, you are awesome. Stupid odds.
I guess. I mean,
I don't know. I was reading a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say reading books, playing video games. I don't know.
I was in marching band, so I don't know.
Yeah, you get that, and you also get Sebastian's girlfriend, who quickly becomes ex-girlfriend, as
Monique
Viola manages to break up with her in front of everybody and just up the legend status. Like, oh, the only thing better, apparently, than this guy and just like having multiple women swoon over him is just
dumping a hot girl,
acting like you don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
But you get that, but it does give depth to Duke's character because eventually you have, I think it's fairly well done. You have Viola and all of her assumptions about what guys are like at that age, and she's playing into that, constantly trying to project out like, which girl would you rather see naked? That's what we care about. And it's that exact line that gets the response from Duke. Like, why do you always talk like that in such vulgar ways about women? Like,
yeah.
It's not just about that. So it's a quick way of just like establishing like, yeah, I guess that's the general theme and like the general personality of most of the guys in this cohort, this like soccer team. But it allows Duke to stand out from that.
So they agree. Sebastian agrees with Duke. Duke will teach Sebastian how to be better at soccer to get on first string to play against Cornwall. If Sebastian helps Duke get a date with Olivia, right? That's what happens. And so you have montage. You have various and sundry scenes about Duke helping Sebastian Viola play soccer, and there's conversations with Olivia, shit like that.
And of course, as you would expect, it backfires. She doesn't become more deeply infatuated with Duke. Instead, Olivia grows to just fall deeply in love with Viola, who she thinks is Sebastian.
Yep.
A true love triangle. Every time, I think it was because I saw this movie, like I said, as a kid. And I got the idea of the love triangle introduced to me. And I see that phrase come up sometimes. And I'm always like, no. I remember like when Final Fantasy VII came out, and I think in the instruction manual, it talks about the love triangle between Eris and Tifa and Cloud. And I remember looking at that, reading that as a kid and being like, that's not a love triangle. 12th Night is a love triangle because
yes, it is.
You have proper movement between all the poles. That's just two girls liking the same guy.
Yeah.
Here we've got Duke loves Olivia. Olivia loves Viola, who is Sebastian, who is in love with Duke. We got the proper movement.
Yeah. And then Duke is also confusingly attracted to Viola after the carnival.
Right. The carnival is basically like Viola needs to go present as herself as
and
the young
as
debutante
Sebastian.
for her mother's sake, and as Sebastian. In the same, it's the Miss Doubtfire like dinner situation where Robin Williams is going back and forth into the bathroom and changing between the two characters and steadily getting like them sort of mixed up and going to the wrong characters, except it has none of the humor. It's just a big nothing.
She changes on a tilt-a-whirl, for God's sake. Like,
yeah, just baffling choices and a moon bounce that is full of children.
Yeah.
I guess it's not full of children when she gets in there, but yeah. A lot of unintentional, inadvertent people becoming sex criminals, potentially. Based on
by the end of this movie, everyone is a sex criminal. They all have blue dots over their head by the end of this movie. But it ends with the kissing booth. Duke kisses Viola, thinking that it was actually going to be Olivia. Mm-hmm. And then a fight breaks out.
Ex-boyfriend Justin comes in. And
you know, the expected little thing.
It's one of those very generic brawls, like, okay, we're just frantic camera work around, like a group sort of convening around, slapping each other around and like I don't know, toppling over popcorn machines and tripping into fucking balloon salesmen. It's nothing.
It's just scenes. Olivia tries to make Sebastian jealous by going on a date with Duke. Obs.
I will say the gym scene when I mentioned Channing Tatum's great comedic timing, and it's the one scene when they're working out together and Olivia decides to make Viola jealous by asking Duke out right in front of her. And she's like, how many reps can you do? And he's like, 20. She's like, that's twice what I weigh. How many reps could you do of me? And you see him, and it's just like he's like counting on his fingers and he's like staring off, kind of going vacant for a second, like 40, and just doubling the amount. And it's very funny. It's good. There
are a few moments with Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum there is genuine chemistry. Anytime that they like shake hands or there's a hug and Amanda Bynes like leans into Channing Tatum and like smells his hair, like it's fucking good. Like it's pretty funny shit.
Yeah, they have a lot of chemistry. I mean, apparently I was reading that she wanted him in the role. Like, she picked him out of commercial work or something. Like, oh, he's gonna be a star.
I've got a little bit about that.
I figured that was some Bose trivia.
That may come into play a little bit. Going into that double date and stuff, we're moving forward through everything. People are starting to pair up. We see how the 12th night end is going to go, because 12th night ends with all of the characters having a happy ending. It's a comedy, not a tragedy. So everybody gets paired up by the end of 12th night, basically.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them could be a little bit happier by the end, but this one, they really like the final scene is like everybody's a couple. Yeah.
But like what Toby is actually says something about Eunice, right? That was her name?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Just the big, what do we call those? The braces that with the wire that goes around
the headset. No, headset.
The whole head brace.
Headgear. It's headgear.
Headgear. Yeah. That one.
He's like, okay, I don't understand. When I said I liked her, y'all made fun of me, and now Sebastian likes her, and now she's cool. And he actually says, and this, again, a moment that I genuinely laughed out loud, screw you guys, I hate high school. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's about right. That's pretty dead on. There was a cat fight, because of course there was.
It's, considering it wasn't too long ago that we did Blood Rain, could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse. Yep.
And the movie in game kind of goes through. Sebastian arrives a day early, complicates things by Olivia making a move on Sebastian, who Duke thinks is Viola, but Viola is not being Sebastian at the time.
I read this play, then I watched the movie, and then I watched this adaptation. And let me tell you what, hearing you just say that phrase right now, I even, knowing all this, glazed over a little bit. Like, listeners, we're sorry. This is the story.
Yeah.
It's a lot of entangled relationships.
So, ends with the soccer game. Sebastian is back in town and is playing himself and sucks ass at soccer, apparently, because he's a musician.
You got to appreciate just showing up to school and they pull him out like, hey, get out there on the field. And he just doesn't hesitate. Put up any resistance. Like, okay, let me put on the jersey and sure, I'm on the soccer team. I didn't know this. Oh, it's like this championship game. Sure, I'll go out there and give it a go.
I just like how while he's on the field at one point, he goes, why am I doing this? This is not fun. And I was like, yeah, cool. But Malcolm and Monique get like the principal involved. They call him out and they say that Sebastian's a girl and he drops trow and hangs dong, and everybody feels foolish
and also a little turned on. Some of them, we get some, as you would expect, zoom ins on, I don't remember who in the crowd. Like, all right, nice.
The dad actually says, that's my boy. Okay. Yeah.
That's my boy. There it is. Okay.
And at halftime, Viola takes over for Sebastian, and basically it's called out even before the second half is a quarter or halfway over, and shows herself to be who she is. They let her play
by flashing them.
Sure. She lifts shirt instead of drops trow and shows boob.
She's getting the lesser charge of the two siblings. So
sure.
I guess there's that.
Though I did like the principal, like they're like, where is Sebastian? He's like, he's probably halfway to Egypt by now or something. And Sebastian's like, right here. The principal's like, he showed his whole twig and bear. I'm right here, actually. Right here. Like, that's pretty good.
You know?
Confidence is an important thing.
He's obviously a shower, not a grower.
Yeah, I guess. And there's a penalty kick to win the game. Gets saved. Channing Tatum heads it. And Amanda Bynes, Viola kicks it in the goal for the win. And everybody kind of, yay. She goes
I will say, right before this, I
was going to say, she goes to debutante ball, and Channing Tatum meets her there, and they walk down what cotillion?
Sure.
Like, they go to cotillion together, I guess. Like, she is introduced to the world as a young woman. And they like kind of make out a little bit, and then it ends happily ever after. I guess.
Yeah. They walk out and they just waved all the other happy couples. Everyone's paired up. There was one final point I wanted to make, and it was the exact opposite of what I was complaining about earlier with just not using the source material well or cleverly. There's in the original 12th Night, you have Malvolio, who is the steward, the attendant to his lady, Olivia.
Right.
And he's just a real stick in the mud. He's always just like killing everybody's fun. And you have this scene of like the other peripheral characters like Uncle Toby and Maria, the female attendant. And they're just like up like drinking and playing the accordion and the piano and just like having a good old time. And he comes in and like basically just yells at them all. He's the fucking hall monitor. It's like, I'm going to tell on y'all. You need to quit it. It's late. And they get back at him. That's the whole idea about like writing these fake letters from his lady Olivia that seem to imply that she actually is in love with him. And they lead him on this long, very embarrassing endeavor to show that he's also interested in her and to like communicate his love back in return in very subtle ways, increasingly less subtle ways. But she has no idea what's going on, Olivia, because she didn't write the letter.
Right.
But there's a line in the letter penned by Maria, and it's be not afraid of greatness. Some were born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. It's just part of this long declaration of love.
Right. It's also like a historically classic Shakespearean quote. Like it's a big one.
Yeah, and they pull that out and they turn it into the motivational. We're in like the last, like it's a tied game and it's all riding on this penalty kick, and they take that part of the letter and they turn it into the motivational speech before they all go out and win the game. And I thought that is a clever use of the source material.
Yeah, that was good.
In context where it perfectly fits. Yeah, I really like that.
So I have something to say about the soccer game that's a little less motivated by academics. Those cheerleaders, there's no way in fucking hell they're children. They were so aggressively, uncomfortably dressed.
It kept throwing me through this movie. It's like, I know they're at like another rival high school, but it's got the boarding school thing going, but like there's so many times like this is college though, right? Like I know it's not. I'm paying attention, but like these are college students or these are adults.
Yeah. They go to a pizza place. Like I expect that pizza place to be a bar.
Yeah, right.
But that's, movie ends. Everybody's paired up. Duke with Viola, Sebastian with Olivia, Malcolm with his right hand, Toby with Eunice, and Andrew with Paul. One thinks.
It's very 2006 where it's like, we have some sort of subtle signaling that he's gay, but we don't ever really come out and say it or deal with it. We're still in that era where like...
at the end of it, like he straightens Andrew's like pocket square and they kind of like wink at each other and grin. And I'm like, oh, Paul's gay. And Kaylin's like, my wife Kaylin is like, you're just now figuring that out? And I was like, he wore camo pants and a wallet chain. I don't know.
Well, again, it's like, he's in that role, and you just assume they're going to go that route because it's always the sassy gay friend in these roles.
Or he could be the character that is secretly harboring a crush for the main protagonist.
That's true. It's always one of the two, right? But like, right. It just felt like, oh yes, once again, the time capsule of 2006. Where like we try and shy away from these things actually in general. Like the culture has, it's just changed so much, and just a couple decades really.
Yeah.
Not even, but
I mean, yeah, a little under 2 decades.
Yeah.
Oof, that hurts.
But it's just sort of like that. You kind of know what's going on here. We don't need to say it, right? We would be more comfortable if we didn't say it, so don't make us say it kind of thing.
Yeah.
From the filmmakers, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, I don't know. That's kind of how it ends. Do you have anything that jumped out at you that you, like, blew you away or you absolutely hated?
I didn't really feel, you know, it's an actual movie, you know?
Yes, it is.
And that's more than I can say for, like, The Christmas Prince, whatever. It's not just the flat, like, sinking into the morphine that some of our choices have been. And that was a refreshing change. And, like, there were performances to take note of. I genuinely laughed at a couple of things, and it's not like laughing at the fucking bird into the car in the snowstorm in A Christmas Prince, just the absurdity of something. Like, something that is intended to be funny and is written well enough and acted well enough that it is. They pull it off. There are moments of that. And I don't know. I like I said, I really enjoy the source material, and it's always fun to see what they're going to do with it. And there were a couple moments of clever usage, and so that it kind of surprised me. I more than I expected, but then also like underwhelmed me equally.
Well, you saw Benjamin Kingsley as Festus right before this, so I mean,
yeah, you don't. There's no and Helena Bonham Carter, right? I just love seeing her before she got fucking Tim Burton doll to shit. Which, like, I love every iteration of her. I think she's a phenomenal actress, but I love her in the thespian element. What
Right.
should I say? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. There are worse ways to spend. It was a little long.
I honestly thought
spend an hour and 40.
I don't know why
45.
I thought it was only like 85 minutes long.
I feel like it should have been.
Yeah,
they could have cut a couple. They have like 3 different All American Rejects tracks.
Two All American Rejects tracks, an OK Go track, and an OAR track that I caught.
There we go. They could have cut one of those and trimmed down a couple of things. Maybe one of the montages could have gone. But yeah, I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, you own it. Is it remaining on the shelf?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's.
What's the story? Why do you own this? Is this a personal purchase?
No. This is a wife purchase.
Okay.
But I mean, it's also, I mean, kind of like you said, it's not a horrible way to spend an hour and 45, but it's also a really noticeable time capsule.
Yeah.
Of 2006. Like, I think that's one of the reasons I actually enjoy it, is because it is such a time capsule.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things hit me a little more uncomfortably than I expected them to, because I haven't seen it in a while. Yeah. But it is still very much a mid-aughts time capsule film.
So you're there in your bedroom. You've got your inflatable, sort of translucent, purpley armchair.
No, I had a love sack.
Well, this is what. Just hang with me. This is what you got going on now.
Okay.
Sink into this bad boy. Just listen to it. Listen to the plastic just shriek a little bit as you sink down into that.
Yeah.
Kick your feet up on that ottoman. Glance over at your, I don't know, also translucent purple iMac on your desk that is plastered with not just the desk, but maybe the bulletin board, the closet doors, maybe cutouts of Leo and I don't know who to even reference here. Cutouts of like Cosmo Girl, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
All the hot guys. You got those sort of the strings of the large plastic glow in the dark stars. You know, maybe they're hanging over the doorway. Just really put yourself in there, right? And as you're putting on your very thick, just way too thick and way too black, dark mascara and just your eyeliner there, and fiddling with your bleach blonde highlights, what would you rather have on? Are you going Twilight or are you going She's the Man?
She's the Man.
Thinking about what we covered, yeah? You going She's the Man?
Oh, damn. Well, okay, so I genuinely have moments of joy watching the first Twilight movie because of just how absolute garbage it is.
You watched them annually, you said, right?
Yeah.
It was like just sort of a fun, bad movie watch through. Yeah, so.
Oh, man. But I don't know how often I laugh out loud at Twilight.
Mm.
You know, like this movie, there are moments that are genuinely funny. I mean, like you said, like,
yeah,
both Channing Tatum and Amanda Bynes have pretty great comedic timing at points in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. But it's the baseball game and Hold On Tight, Spider Monkey. Like, Twilight has some absolute bonkers shit.
Yeah.
I would, I feel like I'd be maybe less ashamed to own this movie. At least I could be like, no, it's based on Shakespeare.
Yeah, I'm required as an English major to
do
a thorough accounting of all the.
It's based on Shakespeare. It's an academic endeavor. Thank you.
There you
go. So that is She's the Man. T to B.
What can I say? On the strength of this, I can't imagine who would choose to source it. But aside from that, yes, you should. You should check out 12th Night. But just like watch the 9. I think it's 96.
I think you're right.
So watch that movie, and then if you really like it, read the play. Or, I don't know, watch the movie with the subtitles on. You're kind of doing it. More bang for your buck. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I think sourcing that is worth it. It's got some like goofy moments, the 96 movie, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, wasn't I won't be watching this one again.
I probably will. This is my kind of shit. Just kind of silly slapstick rom-coms that have some weird Easter eggs that I like to look for.
Yeah. Well, you got multiple shits. You got this shit and you've got trivia shit from what I hear.
I do. I love to welcome you to my corner. I know stuff. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Bo's Trivia Corner. It's been a long while.
Now I'm sitting in my inflatable purple armchair. I'm just cozying back and
I'm in my love sack. Love that damn thing, dude. Got it in like 2003. It was awesome. So we're going to start off with something you already mentioned about Channing Tatum. This is his first main role ever. He was 26 years old playing a senior in high school. They thought he was way too old, but Amanda Bynes fought for him. Like, he gives Amanda Bynes credit for his film career starting because of this movie. Before this, he did some soaps and some bit parts and some commercials and shit like that. But this was his first main supporting / headlining role was in this movie, and it had to be fought for by Amanda Bynes. This one's a little weird, and it's a little more bow-coded. The soccer in this movie is bad.
Okay.
Very,
yeah, you have some...
Very bad.
I'm not a sports guy. Okay.
I played soccer all through elementary, middle, and some of high school. JV, varsity, that sort of stuff. Got hurt and had to stop playing. But I love the game. Love it very, very much. Just a couple of things that were noticed about why the soccer in this movie are bad. So this is kind of like a number 2 in my trivia corner with different little subsections. When Viola scores the winning goal, she's actually offsides. There's no final whistle ever blown. So not sure how the game ends or why. At one point after a goal, the ball is brought to the corner for a corner kick when it should have been another kickoff. And yet they focus on the fact that it's a corner kick, which I thought was interesting. And lastly, and my personal favorite, Illyria kicks off both times in the game, both first half and second half. There's no alternate. The fact that the game-winning goal shouldn't actually count is very funny to me.
I love that you caught all these.
Going a little bit into the writing of the movie, I thought you would very much enjoy this. The two of the writers of this film did another modern adaptation of a Shakespearean play.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they did 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's what I really wanted to do, which we got to do at some point.
Yeah, we will.
That's doing it right. I'm a fan of that one. Actually.
The two of the writers of this movie also wrote that film.
Well, they used all their good material in the other one.
Yeah. Well, they also wrote Legally Blonde and Ella Enchanted. These two ladies, Karen McCullen and Kirsten Smith, they are fucking awesome, apparently. And lastly, and my personal favorite, and this will be the end of Bo's Trivia Corner. This movie actually Sorry. This is so funny to me. It takes a lot of its influence from the Disney Channel original movie Motocrossed from 2001.
Haven't seen that one.
It's almost the exact same film, except for the one in the Disney Channel original movie. It's about dirt bikes instead of soccer. And this one had a bigger budget.
Does that movie also like clearly state like, hey, we are inspired by Shakespeare, Twelfth Night?
Yeah.
Do they use the names, like the original character names?
I don't know. All I do know is that the main character pretends to be another person, pretends to be her twin brother, so she can be a motocross biker, and there's a love triangle.
Okay. So next time.
No, next time we're doing 10 Things I Hate About You, because I also really want to do that. That's going to be awesome. But that's, I mean, there's so much trivia. I also wanted to mention the fact that I know I made the joke earlier about the towel hitting the dude and actually hitting him. No, it actually did hit him. Like, that's his real reaction. Like, Channing Tatum, like, snapped the towel and hit the dude right in the eyeball. And
Yikes.
That's just, they got the full reaction on camera.
Suffering for it's Bridget Wilson in Mortal Kombat all over again, right?
Yeah, he was going to make the same noise that she made when Kano kicked her in the stomach.
Worth it for the sake of this wonderful film.
Yeah. And the micro trivia, the pizza place they go to is called Cesario's.
That's right. Yeah.
I just thought that.
That's another good one, right? Yeah.
I just thought that was cute. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cute one, right? It's okay. And we got the Italian restaurant sounding name for the restaurant,
named after the real person that the person in the play pretends to be. Yeah, it's just kind of cute.
Yeah, those are fine. I like those. Because like you were saying with Duke, I mean that's kind of a stretch, but some of these you just can't really make them work in contemporary. Well, at the time, 2006 America, you know.
Yeah, I mean Toby and Andrew worked, and even Viola and Olivia worked.
Yeah, right.
You're not going to find a dude named Malvolio, though. It is not.
No.
You're going to find a tarantula.
Yeah.
And with that...
I love a little trivia corner. Thank you for that.
Oh, always a pleasure. I don't get to do it near as often as I would like to, because the last couple of movies we did didn't have near as much trivia as I wanted them to. Guys, it's February. As promised, it's Patreon time, baby. We have a lovely gift coming your way. Do we want to go ahead and spoil it now?
Well, yeah. I mean, we got to get the people in there, right? This might tempt them a little bit. Valentine's Day special. Valentine's Day special.
We are doing some Mortal Kombat datality. We're going to talk about some matchmaking some Mortal Kombat characters and what dates they should go on. It ought to be. I mean, we're really hoping there aren't going to be any babalities after this.
Oh, yeah. Well, some of them might stay in the friendship zone, but if it gets too hot and steamy.
Nice. Yeah. And with that comes housekeeping stuff. All of that wonderful, wonderful housekeeping stuff. You can contact us all over the place. Facebook, Instagram, email, YouTube. We have YouTube now. Discord, Source Not Found Podcast. Email us sourcenotfoundpod@gmail.com. Please email us if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Do you love this movie? Have you ever seen this movie? Tell us. Email us. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions, things like that, we'll make sure we bring up on the episodes. Stuff like that. It's really fun. We'll hit mailbag maybe here in an episode or two.
Nice. And it is that so romantic season. Even over here in Japan, where Valentine's Day works a little bit differently than we're accustomed to. And I'll share some details on that in this Patreon episode, but I'm getting real romantic with it over on Twitch. Come by for Leisure Suit Larry. I checked. It's streamable. It's not on the banned games list, so fingers crossed we'll be okay. So we'll see how weird it gets. Come get weird. Twitch.tv/LegionBug. Link down in the show notes.
And when you get weird with him with Leisure Suit Larry, we're going to get weird with Leisure Suit Larry together in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Next topic, Leisure Suit. And we're coming in with Leisure Suit Larry. Am I going to get this right? Wet dreams don't dry. No, wait. Dreams don't dry? Yeah.
Wet dreams don't dry. You're thinking about the sequel, Wet Dreams Dry Twice. We're not doing that one.
And they're both just such wonderful, enjoyable things to say.
Yeah,
hear yourself saying, to come out of your
roll,
mouth. Yep.
Roll right off the tongue.
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much for listening as always. And for our Patreon patrons, for those of you who want to join, we now have 3 tiers. We have the sources, the sorcerers, and the sorcerers. Our sources get our lovely monthly newsletter and a heartfelt thank you. Our sorcerers get the bonus episode along with everything the sorcerers get, and those sorcerers get that monthly shout out and our eternal gratitude along with everything the other tiers get,
as well as the coolest tier name.
I mean, it's really good. Yeah, it's very, very good.
Yeah, sometimes we do all right.
Yeah, sometimes. Guys, thank you so much for listening. And as always, check those toilets for Freddy Krueger and watch out for any white vans with clowns in them.
And then just a brief reminder from me. Don't forget, tampons, great on those nosebleeds, so stay stocked.